Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Tuesday. I hope all is well. We are just one day away from that massive game at the Etihad tomorrow night. What an absolute, I was going to say thriller, but I'm not sure thriller's the right word. I think it's going to be nauseating, nervous, horrendous. I don't know how you want to describe it, but one thing you can describe it at is big. Mikel Arteta has just been speaking about it at his pre-match press conference. So we'll go through a little bit about what Mikel had to say in some of the key areas from this game. Some interesting points to come from him. I thought the most interesting one, he says it's not going to define Arsenal's season. I'm not sure I agree with that, but I know what he's getting at. Obviously, he doesn't want to put too much pressure on his players ahead of the game. Is it do or die? You would think from an Arsenal point of view, it kind of is, given the results of the last 3 games, the 3 draws. You think if Arsenal are going to win this title, they really need to go and certainly not lose against City tomorrow night, but probably win. But Mikel said it's not going to define the season. This is what he said. He said, we knew from the beginning that City were going to be the team to beat, probably with Liverpool because of what these teams have done in the last 5 or 6 years. We wanted to close that gap as much as we possibly could, and we are going toe-to-toe with them. We know we have to go to the Etihad. We know that after that we have 5 very difficult games. So that game is going to be really important. Is it going to define our season? The answer is no. If we win, we haven't won the league, that's for sure. It will shift a little bit, the percentage, but 5 games in this league, with the games we both still have to play, it's very tricky still. And he's right to point that out. Obviously, there's 5 really difficult games. If Arsenal do go and win beat Manchester City tomorrow night, they go 8 points clear. City, of course, would have 2 games in hand. Everyone will be like, oh, that's it, title done, Arsenal win. Not the case, because they've still got to go to Newcastle. We saw what Newcastle did to Tottenham at the weekend. We know how good they are at home. They've still got Chelsea to play at home. They've still got Brighton to play. Both teams have got Brighton to play. That is not going to be an easy game at all. Brighton are a very, very good side who love playing at the Emirates as well. So that's going to be a difficult game. So I can see what he's getting at when he's saying it. He doesn't want to build this game up into such a massive one ahead of it. But I mean, I think really deep down he will know. He's not going to say it publicly, but I think deep down he will know that if his side have got any hope of going on and winning this title now, they need to go and get something from this game. Like I said, I don't think it's a game they necessarily have to win. Certainly not lose. I think they go and lose at the Etihad tomorrow night. I think we can all probably say that's the title done. Stranger things have happened in football. Who knows? It could go differently. But I think, given the form, given the experience of Manchester City, given the players that they've got, the quality they have, the manager they have, if they do beat Arsenal tomorrow night, you can't really see them surrendering that advantage after that. Just because we know they just win. They just go and win and win and win and win, especially at this stage of the season. History suggests that. We've seen them do it so many times before. So yeah, interesting stuff from Mikel anyway. He was full of praise for his side again ahead of the match. He said he was talked about the previous few results. He said the Arsenal absolutely deserved to win the last 2 games. Not sure that was the case against West Ham. I don't know. I think they did enough in that first half, obviously, to win the game, but then they really were poor after that. And West Ham were absolutely a match for them in that one. They definitely deserve to win the Southampton game, but it doesn't matter if you're going to give away goals like you give away and then miss chances like you do at the other end, then you're not going to win, no matter if you deserve it or not. You're not going to win, and Arsenal have only got themselves to blame for not getting maximum points from those games against West Ham and against Southampton. He was talking about City and the fact that they are just on one of their winning runs now, and he said, he paid full credit to them, said it that, exceptional. But he says, look at the league table, look where we are. If Manchester City have been exceptional, then we've been exceptional because we're sitting top of the table, which again is a very good thing to point out, very worthwhile thing to point out. And I think given what's gone on in the last 3 games, the results Arsenal have had, it's very easy to kind of forget the good work that's gone on ahead of them. And I think Arsenal, whatever happens at Manchester City, they've had such a fantastic season. This has been such a brilliant season to watch. They've given us all so much to enjoy, and there's so much to look forward to over the next few years. I think whatever happens at Manchester City, as disappointing as it will be if Arsenal do go on and miss out on this title, there's still an awful lot to like about what we've seen this season. I think that's quite an important thing to remember as well. Injury-wise, on Saliba, obviously we know he's not going to be playing. Mikel speaking about it today just says there's not been a real improvement, unfortunately, on him. We are still waiting. We are still hopeful, but it's another week that's gone by and he hasn't been able to train. We are preparing for this game without him, and the next game probably is going to be too close as well. We have to go week by week at the moment. And the next game, obviously, is Chelsea on the Tuesday night. Seen as another week on pretty much from the City match, and Mikel's already ruling him out from that one. So it's not looking good with Saliba, is it? It's not looking good at all. And I think it gets to a stage where if he's not looking like he's going to be able to play any sort of part in this season, then you should probably just write it off and make sure you get him right for the start of next season. Because the last thing you want to do is push him a little bit too hard now and end up, leaving yourself without him next season or for the start of next season. I think that'd be the worst thing you could do. The City game was so vitally important. If they can't get him back for this one, which they obviously haven't been able to, you kind of feel like, well, do you just wipe your hands of it now and just think, okay, let's just get him fit for next season, rather than trying to rush him back and risk aggravating things further ahead of the summer, because you don't want him to miss pre-season or anything like that, because when players miss pre-season, it's such a massive thing. It leaves them so far behind in terms of everyone else, and you just don't want that. And Saliba's such a key player that I don't think you want to be taking any risks on. Granit Xhaka, he said, look, Granit's been out. Hopefully he'll be able to train today. He's still a doubt. I think Xhaka will play. I'll be surprised if he doesn't. Look, he's been ill. If he trains today, then he plays, in my opinion. I know Mikel's saying he's a doubt, but I'd be very, very surprised if Granit Xhaka doesn't play. If he's able to train today, if he's fit enough and healthy enough and he's recovered from this illness in time to be able to train today, then he plays at the Etihad. He doesn't end up sitting on the bench. I'd be very, very surprised. A game of this magnitude, it's not like he's going to be chasing his fitness because he missed one game. He'll be fully fit. He's sharp. He's fine. As long as he's recovered from this illness, then there's no question in my mind that Granit Xhaka will be in this team if he travels with the squad later on today. So other than that, Mikel didn't give anything away injury wise. I mean, he's not gonna say if something's happened that we don't know about. He's not going to suddenly flag it up in the press conference. But City says that everyone else is fine, so you would hope that that's the case and that there's no other issues. And then you kind of look at who's going to be playing in this one. And I said it yesterday, I think Trossard should play. I think he should find a way of coming in. Whether he does, I doubt it, because I don't think he's going to drop Gabriel Jesus for this match. I'd be very surprised, given, you sign Gabriel Jesus, that he makes the sort of impact that he does. I'd be very surprised if he suddenly leaves him out for the biggest game of the season away at Manchester City. I wouldn't be overly disappointed if he did, because, like I said, I think Trossard should be in this team at the moment because he's one of Arsenal's best players and he makes a difference every time he's on the pitch. But I think Jesus gets a nod, and if Granit Xhaka comes back, then he's going to come back into the team. So I think pretty much it picks itself. It's just whether he does something different, which we've seen Mikel Arteta do before, especially against Manchester City. Does he try and sort of get one over Pep Guardiola? When he's tried that before, it hasn't tended to work. I remember the Willian false nine experiment away at Manchester City. Still sends shudders down my spine thinking about that. He was pushed a couple of times in the press conference on whether he was going to, do something a little bit outside of the box for this one. He wouldn't say. Obviously, he wouldn't say because he's not going to give anything away, but it'll be interesting to see if he does just play the team and the formation that has served Arsenal so well this season, or if he changes things up to try and counter the threat of Manchester City. Do you stick with Rob Holding at centre-back, or do you try something a little bit different to ensure you have a little bit more control and a little more build-up quality from the central defensive areas? That's something Arsenal have massively been lacking since Saliba has been out. So these are all options that Arteta's going to have to consider ahead of this one. On Jesus and Zinchenko and how important they've been and how much Arsenal sort of leaning on them at the moment, he said for sure the experience is key when you've been in the moments that they've had. To be able to handle those moments and the capacity to transmit what these players have to the rest of the squad is very important. When they came in after 2-3 weeks, they said we can win this league. It's been going on since August. So again, that's the sort of makes me think that he's not going to be leaving Jesus out for this one. I was disappointed in both players against Southampton, given their, the fact they've been in this position before, like Mikel Arteta is saying, and their experience. I thought both were pretty poor in that game against Southampton on Friday night. They could have stood up more when the team needed them, but on the whole, they've both been fantastic signings, no doubt about that. And I do expect I do expect they'll both be in the starting 11 for this one. I'll go through my predicted 11. I'll probably do a bit in the morning. I'm at the Youth Cup final tonight, so I've got that, and then I'm travelling up to the Etihad tomorrow. So I'll try and find the time to get a video done in the morning before I leave, and I'll do my predicted 11 in that one. Just he said, look, it's going to be a tough night and a challenge, but the opportunity is incredible for us. If you want to win the Premier League, you have to go and beat them. If you want to be champions, you have to win those matches. It's as simple as that. It's kind of a little bit maybe contradicts what he said about it not defining the season by the fact here he's saying if you want to win the Premier League, you have to go win at Manchester City. And I think if Arsenal do win at the Etihad, certainly if they win at the Etihad and go on and win the title, then this game will define Arsenal's season. It'll be the one we all look back on. It'll be the Old Trafford 2002 Sylvain Wiltord moment. It'll be the Old Trafford 1998 Marc Overmars moment. You know, it would be that game you always look back on and remember as the day that Arsenal won the title. Obviously, it doesn't win them the trophy, but if they did win this and went on to get over the line, then would be the match that we all look back on, no doubt about that. So it's huge. No matter how much you try and play it down, no matter how much, whatever Mikel says, whatever Pep Guardiola says, and Mikel said they haven't been speaking yet, they haven't been in contact this week or anything like that. Obviously, very good friends, but very much got their sort of competition hats on at the moment, so not going to be ringing each other up every other day and just having a chat. But yeah, no matter who plays it down, whatever the players say, whatever the managers say, it's a huge, huge game. It's the one we've all been waiting for a few months now, and it is here. And yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be emotional, put it that way. So yeah. I'm heading up to the Etihad tomorrow, so you'll be able to get all the usual match stuff from me, all the updates if you're not able to catch the game, which I'm sure pretty much all of you will be, because I can't see how anyone's going to miss this one. Everyone's going to be watching. But before that, I will be at the Youth Cup final tonight. Over 30,000 tickets sold for this one tonight. Arsenal versus West Ham. Jack Wilshere trying to lead the under-18s to glory 14 years after he won the competition as a player. Arsenal haven't won the Youth Cup since that 2009 team that included Jack Wilshere, Henri Lansbury, Manuel Frimpong, Francis Coquelin, Luke Ayling. What a fantastic team that was. And so, yeah, looking forward to this match today. Seeing Jack Wilshere's young side. I've put a lot of content out ahead of that game. If you can go and see it yesterday, I looked back on that 2019 with Emmanuel Frimpong, getting his views on his former teammates in that one. I've done a big piece on Jack Wilshere and on the sort of progress he's made in his first year. And this morning I put out a piece about Miles Lewis-Skelly. Obviously scored the winner in the semi-final. One of the big talents in this under-18s team. So please do head over to my social media. You'll find links to all of that content, and I'll be at the game providing live updates later on today. So if you're not able to watch it, then you can follow all the action via my social media later. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Appreciate your time. As always, have a very good day. I'll speak to you soon.